Hi guys, this is week 29 Project Life, and as usual I am starting with my photos. However, I've got no kits to work with this week, so I've just grabbed a couple of stamp sets that I wanted to use, one from Kelly Stamps and one from Studio Calico, and I've just grabbed my big box of random Project Life cards that I'm going to go through and try and pick some to fill out the spots this week. Now, I'll admit, I struggled a little bit. It was so much harder not working with a kit. You can see how many cards there are to work with. I've got them split between square and rounded corners and then sort of split into colours, but there are still a ton of cards in there, and so I just didn't really have any place to start really with looking for the cards. So I decided to keep it a little bit simple and just pick out some plainer patterns. And then I also grabbed that blue one, which I'm going to trim down to 3x4 just because it ties in with the other blues in my photos. And then I just need a couple more, and so again I really struggled to find them. So I think that's one of the things that I really love about working with kits, is it just makes it so much easier to coordinate a page together. I think having sort of limited choices does actually make it easier to choose which cards you want, if that makes sense. The more choice I have, the harder it seems to be. So I'm not quite sure what I'll do with all these cards, because obviously you can see how difficult it was for me to pick out the cards this week. So I don't know how readily I'm going to actually use all of these cards. I'll have to think of a better option. So you can see I've grabbed a couple that are sort of polka dotty and this blue card, and then I just grabbed a black and white stripe, and I'm going to do some journaling on the middle card there, so I'm keeping that plain. As far as embellishing this week, I'm going to keep that pretty minimal too, so I'm just grabbing my big bowl of washi and picking out a few washi tapes that I think I'm going to use to just embellish these plain cards a little bit. So I'm picking out colours that sort of match colours in the photo, so I've grabbed this blue on blue diagonal stripe, and I'm just going to start with my title card and just tear off a few strips of the washis that I've chosen and just lay them down in a row on the bottom. And then I can do my stamping on that later. This card here, I wasn't going to use the peachy coloured circle that was in it, just the polka dots. So I'm adding a little bit of this orange stripe to the card as well. I have changed that photo to black and white, but actually our garage flooded during a really huge storm we had, and Shane was wearing an orange jacket, so I thought that tied in quite nicely. Just adding another little piece of black and white washi to the Instax photo, and then another piece of that same blue washi to the journaling card I'm going to use to do my journaling on. And I did try to use the orange washi on the stripe, but the two diagonal stripes didn't really work properly. So instead I went and grabbed another one. It's not really washi tape, it's sort of a glitter tape, and I think that one's from Kiki K. So it's quite a lot thicker, so I've just cut that down to fit, and those are all the washi tape I'm going to use this week. So I'm going to do some journaling on a few of the cards, well, a couple of the cards and one of the photos. That smaller 3x4 card, there were a couple of incidents with the typewriter, so I'm just using a white gel pen to correct those. Everything else went through easily enough, and so now I'm just going to add a few of the stamps. So this is a Kelly Stamps set, and I'm just adding the normal is boring on top of there as sort of the title for that card. And then I want to add another one of these sentiment stamps to the bottom of this photo, but I just changed to the Versa marking instead of a die ink, just so it doesn't stick to the photo so badly. And again, I'm going to add one of the stamps under that card. Now, it actually looks way easier to read in real life than it reads on video, so it says treat yourself. And then I started using this set from Studio Calico, and whoo, what a nightmare I had with this. So first I thought I would try my Brilliance White ink, and you can see, you can hardly see that at all, so I decided no, I'll swap to the Versamark then. But these stamps are so poorly made, it was unbelievable. So the impression, sort of the raised part of the stamp, is so thin that it's so easy to over ink it, and this one here, the solid one I was trying to use, actually had a funny wee raised piece, so it wasn't stamping properly, so I carefully stamped it on vellum. But my mistake here was that I used the Versamark ink, and I added the second sentiment stamp, and then I took it away and I tried to heat set it, and I heat set it for ages and it just would not dry. So I give up on that completely, and I'm going to repeat that whole process, but this time with StazOn ink. And that worked much better. It's not as black, but I mean it dries straight away, and so I was going to take that. So I'm just trimming that out, and then I can glue that in place. It says highlights, so I'm just moving it off to the side so it says highlight. And then I was a little bit nervous to use the rest of these stamps for the title for this week, but they worked out fine. I think it's just those more solid ones that you have to be super careful with. So I'm just stamping my title and then add my dates. A little heart in the middle, and that is this week all done. I can't believe what a struggle it was not to have a kit this week, so it might be something I have to practice a bit more often. There's a couple more videos on screen if you want to keep watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!